Well, I personally think would work for a new Nightmare movie. I know we haven't really heard much when it comes to new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's definitely been a couple of years. Um, so yeah, and I mean we've heard a few different stuff here and there, throughout the past couple of years. You know, the main thing, the obvious choice for the next Nightmare on Elm Street movie is, of course, the direct sequel route. The legacy sequel route. That's obviously the main obvious choice, and even I think Heather Langenkamp, she did she hopes to come back in one way or another, because she really is a fan, of the Nancy character. Of course, this is a big part of her life, you could say. So for sure, man. And like I said, I think she hopes for a direct sequel, to the original. Uh, but yeah, and like I said, that's the main obvious choice. But I think there's other ways and other ways, they could go about it, and I think it will still work. And one of the main ones is that I think has always stuck on to me, and this is actually coming from Robert Englund himself. Of course, he, you know, throughout the years he's been interviewed and stuff like that. People are always asking him, when's the next Nightmare movie? Is he gonna be in the next Nightmare movies? Stuff like that when it comes to a new Nightmare on Elm Street. And he's even pitched, his own ideas, what he personally thinks would work. And I definitely, I will say, his idea, his pitch, I think is the more, like I said, the one that has stuck onto me throughout the years, ever since I heard him, speak on it. And yeah, we're definitely gonna break it down. But like I said, man, hope you guys are having a good Monday, man. Definitely let me know what you guys are doing today. Like I said, it's always much appreciated, you guys tuning in. Um, Definitely let me know, man, what you guys would like to see for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like I said, the direct sequel thing, the legacy sequel, is kind of the main obvious choice. But I think they could do something, a little bit more original, something refreshing, So yeah, man. Daniel Zabetta, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Yo, Chippy, what's up, man? Here chilling, man. Hope you're having a good Monday. It's a pretty chill day today. The weather's pretty cool today, man. So yeah, and I'm usually, my day off is on Monday, so I decided to do another live stream like last week. Double feature. I uploaded a video towards the middle of my day. I'm like, screw it, let me just do a live stream too. It might be part of Horror Nights. Yeah, Chippy. You know what? I think that's really, honestly, I could see it be 95% sure it's gonna happen. Because I have heard about it for quite some time now. I think ever since late last year or earlier this year. Um, but yeah, and you know what? It seems to be the case because not just because obviously they're already building the houses and everything. That takes like a whole year before. So, and of course we got like the YouTubers, the people who are they post it on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever, on whatever construction they're working on, the Horror Nights. And obviously those sets they're building, those houses they're building, they give us ideas of what it might be. And there's been a few with Nightmare, and also not just that, like I said, not just that, the pictures and everything, but I think since it is the 40th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street this year, uh 40 or 50, I think it's 40. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking too far. Yeah, it's 40, the 40th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street. And you know what? I've heard a lot of, you know, uh, upcoming stuff, put it that way. A lot of good stuff supposedly, and I'm really hoping for we get this year. Like I said, the Halloween Horror Nights maze, pretty 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 damn cool. Pretty damn cool. We never see Freddy Halloween Horror Nights. I know. I'm pretty sure Universal was able to negotiate the rights and the licensing. And from the outside looking in, it looks like they're gonna base it off the original 1984 movie, which is spectacular. Awesome shit, Chippy. So you know what, dude? Horror Nights. If that's the case, Horror Nights is definitely gotta make it this year, man. Gotta make it this year. Honestly, wasn't the hugest fan of Horror Nights these past couple of years. Well, this last year was pretty cool. You know, they have some cool stuff. Probably because it's been a while since I've been there, so it was my first time being there in a while. So it hit pretty good. You know, it was pretty dope. But yeah, and you know what? Another one of the main things I've heard about Nightmare on Elm Street when it comes to the 40th anniversary, we are supposedly getting I think it's a 4K. We're getting Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, on 4K for the first time, and that's awesome, man. Scream Factory, if I'm not mistaken. I know a lot of people been waiting on that for years. Me too. You know, we've always wondered. Me myself as well. I've always wondered where the hell. How come we never had the 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street? But of course, it goes back to rights, licensing, and all that good stuff. But like I said, man, what like I said, 40th anniversary. I think it makes it more accessible. It makes it even better. And if that's the case, hey, it was well worth the wait. Uh, I'm not a big 4K guy. Um, I'm cool with the Blu-ray, but it's still pretty cool, especially if they hopefully they come out with like a dope steelbook or something. I would buy it, and I'm pretty sure it will contain the original movie poster, the 4K Screen Factory. Obviously, yeah, no doubt about that. So if it has the original movie poster, even if I have the Blu-ray, I definitely will still buy it, man. That original poster, man, classic. That's as classic as it gets. That definitely made my I think, what was it, top 5 ho- horror movie posters of all time? Yeah, something like that for sure, man. That poster's iconic as it gets, dude. Hopefully The Strangers is great on this yeah, dude. Oh yeah, for sure, man. I just reviewed the new not the new the two new Stranger movies, Pray at Night and the 2008. So definitely go check that out, man. They are testing sounds to the sewer around the park in Orlando. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know they're in, like, you could say, pre-production. I know a lot of people, like I said, like the YouTubers, they like to kind of document that, and like I said, dude, I hope that's the case. I really hope that's the case, dude, because hey, if it is the case, if Nightmare on Elm Street does make it to Halloween Horror Nights this year, I definitely will be going, dude. No question about it. Yo, Curtis Smith, man, what's up, man? Here chilling, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys are having a good Monday, for sure, man. What's up? Good to see y'all. I'm on my backup. Damn, porn star Jr. What's up, man? That's crazy, man. It's crazy. You got your channel. I thought, I know I just saw your name, so I just assumed it's the regular. But hey, man, that's crazy. Sorry to hear that, man. But yeah, man, appreciate you tuning in. We're definitely gonna be talking about, hopes for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Or what you guys would like to see for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. But for sure, man, definitely will check out your new channel, man. Definitely will be subscribed. I'm doing pretty good, man. Appreciate you tuning in. What happened to... It got deleted for a dumb comment I made. Interesting. Yeah, I know. YouTube is really sensitive these days, man, for sure. Like just by your name. your name for sure has stood out always, in the chat, through the live streams, most definitely, uh for sure. And just by that, I feel YouTube does get a bit, sensitive, and they could simply, delete your stuff, just for like simple comment, simple name. It's crazy, man. Like whatever happened to, you know, freedom of speech. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Freddy Krueger is the master. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Freddy Krueger's the man. So look, check it out. We're gonna get straight into it, guys. So I personally think if they were to make a new Nightmare movie, a modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie, uh, which, like I said, we haven't heard much as of lately. The last we heard was, that Warner Bros, which of course was New Line Cinema. I think they disbanded, not disbanded. I think they cut New Line Cinema, and it's mostly, I think it still exists, but it's under Warner Bros. Is what I'm trying to say. So pretty much, Warner Bros. Man. Uh, I think you guys could correct me if I'm wrong on this. Warner Bros. Has been having the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street for all these years, and last I heard, man, was they were trying to like pitch, because they're also in touch with the Wes Craven estate, of course. I think his daughter, he has daughters, and I think a son, if I'm not mistaken. They're the ones in control. They're the ones in control of the Craven estate. So from what I've heard, they've even them, they've been trying to make it happen, but of course, um, like I said, the studio's been trying to like pitch ideas, or I don't the like writers, directors. I think we're trying to pitch ideas around. From last thing I heard, and of course, one of the last few things as well, man, is they were like already looking like for a possible director. I know a few names were mentioned, of directors that were supposedly going to take on the role of director. But like I said, it's also been nothing's been official. It's mostly articles, speculation, and like I said, this stuff kind of comes around throughout the through because I've been hearing the same stuff for a couple years now, and it looks like every so often they kind of bring back the same news, same speculation. So that's all I've heard, about a new Nightmare. And of course, Heather Langenkamp did speak on it. She's definitely hoping. But like I said, me personally, I kind of believe in Robert Englund's take. You guys could definitely look up, interviews of Robert Englund. I think I can't even, let's see if I could pop it up. But yeah, there's been a few interviews where he does kind of pitch his idea on what would work for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And like I said, I think his pitch, his idea sounds the more, I think it would work more than, let's say, a legacy sequel. Don't get me wrong, man. These legacy sequels could be pretty good. Like I said, man, when the legacy sequel for Halloween came out, it was really exciting, you know. But I think after that, a lot of the ones that came out after 2018 really weren't as good. They didn't really do as a good job as 2018. So like I said, it kind of does worry me. It kind of does, it doesn't really sit well with me if they were to do a legacy sequel. Don't get me wrong, like I said, it will be cool to see Heather Langenkamp, come back to the role as Nancy. All that stuff is great. Just like it was great seeing Jamie Lee Curtis back. That would be dope. But I feel that, they should definitely do something new. And I also brought out Nightmare on Elm Street 2, as you guys can see. Underrated sequel. I know it's definitely not a fan favorite, but as you guys know me, Freddy's Revenge has always been one of my favorite sequels. Probably is my favorite sequel. Honestly, I like it more than the Dream Warriors. I know the Dream Warriors is the favorite sequel. Some people even like it more than the original '84 film. But me, yeah, this movie was ahead of its time. And the reason I'm bringing this into it, because I figure a type of a kind of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie like Freddy's Revenge, I think would work in today's time, in today's, as a modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, I feel this was a movie ahead of its time. Uh, and even like I said, Robert Englund, he did mention it. He did um this is his idea. He figured a movie like Nightmare Part 2 would work as a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and I very much agree so, because, and I think it kind of goes back to the reason that this movie was so hated. It definitely wasn't, like I said, people still don't like it. People really dislike this movie for whatever reason. I'm not the biggest fan of like the whole, different direction they went, especially coming from the original. But as a movie, as its own thing, it's I like it. I really do. Like, it makes it, especially when it comes to the subtext and all that. I think especially at that time, it made it more like creepier. It made it more of a serious, you could say, issue. Um, because like I said, at that time, this kind of stuff was unheard of. That's why people didn't accept it. That's why people shit on this movie. But like I said, man, this was a movie ahead of its time. Robert Englund feels that if this movie would have came out today, it definitely would have been good. Like, I feel if like those people who don't really like it and they revisit it, they possibly might like it more, especially compared to the other sequels we've gotten. But yeah, like I said, I very much agree with Robert Englund, man. Of course, the main issue with this, the main thing about this was about the whole subtext thing. This was kind of new. I know we've had a few before this. This was '85, so pretty much the point is, in the '80s, the golden era of horror movies, it was kind of rare seeing like a male lead. What was his name? Not Mark Hamill. I was gonna say Mark Hamill. It's not Mark Hamill. The main Jesse, the character Jesse, the main actor. Uh, um, I forgot his name, but pretty much it was back then. It was rare seeing a heroine, a male heroine. Of course, in horror movies, you know, you could say the stereotypical. It was always the final girl. Of course, they were, the females. You could say, kind of, that's the stereotypical. They kind of, it's easier to make them a prey, especially when it comes to the horror movies. So that was kind of different. Like I said, I know we've had a few other ones around this time. Ash, you could kind of count Ash, right? First Evil Dead as a final heroine, as a male. But this was completely different, man, because, of course, and I know it was intended. The director has spoke on it, because he even thought at that time it was a pretty, you could say, creepy idea, toying with the main characters, sexuality and stuff like that. Like I said, back then that was kind of like looked down upon, frowned upon kind of thing. We're not frowned upon, or yeah, I think, yeah, frowned upon. But like I said, it's not like now. You could say it's grown more fans because, like, I think in today's movies we've seen worse than this, right? So that's why I say this was a movie that was ahead of its time. So let's say with a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, like I said, start from scratch. Um, Nothing to do, with this original timeline. Um, and I'll talk about Robert Englund returning and all that in a little bit. I know that's a big question mark, especially that's like the main question mark, right? When it comes to a new Nightmare movie, is Robert Englund's return. But we'll get to that. Well, pretty much what I was trying to say is, you know, a new movie. You could say a new, let's call it a remake, whatever, something new from scratch, and of course, new. I wouldn't say a completely remake. Like, it'll kind of suck if a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie is, of course, a new story, a new remake with the same characters, Nancy, whatever. I know in the remake they did change a few names, but we've seen that. We've seen that with the 2010 remake. Uh, of course, Nancy's a legacy character, so it's all good. I definitely don't, mind if they bring some of those same characters in a new modern Nightmare. Whatever. So a new Nightmare movie, and instead of making a new Nightmare movie about being like about jump scares, about trying to focus on that original movie, you know, instead of trying to duplicate a lot of elements from those previous movies, instead of all that, they should, you make the movie make the movie be about, you know, about the about like Nightmare 2, make it, where it's kind of like, like the subtext is what I'm trying to say. Like, bring it back to that, because like I said, now it's a little bit more accepted. It's a little bit more like I said, we've in today's movies we've seen worse than this, and back then this was like a big thing, a big issue. Um, and yeah, and you guys know that whole movement is really big now. It's bigger than it's ever been, and you know what? Like I said, it's really a strong and big community. So now they're all over the movie industry and every movie pretty much. So make a movie about that, and like your nightmare movie, kind of make it touch on that. I know some people might look down on it, but it's still gonna have to deal with, you could say, reality with like I said, this is the shit that's going on these days. Back in the 80s, this was looked down upon. So I think a movie like this could work in today's, in a new modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie. You know what I mean? And I think Robert Englund did give an example. Um, I think he mentioned something about like using, like, let's like have Freddy, of course, get into these kids, these modern kids of today's, because that's one thing for sure, man. If we're gonna have a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I feel you gotta make them, I don't think they're like the main characters are teenagers in a new Nightmare movie. I don't think they could be like the ones we've seen. Like look at the 2010 remake. The characters, Nancy, her friends, whatever, those were like type of teenagers that were like like the cool kids at that time. You could say, not like the stereotypical cool kids in the 2010s, right? Like you could say like these, what do you call, I want to say emo, you know, punk rock, whatever. And if you look at the characters, Nancy in the original 84 movie, they're like, you could say, schoolgirls. They're good girl. They're so for a new Nightmare movie, of course, our teenagers, our characters are definitely gonna be, I think they should be like the typical, stereotypical teenager today, and make it, relatable. I feel, or I wouldn't say relatable, but like I said, make it a serious tone movie instead of, like I said, trying to piggyback off the original movie, or the original '84 movie. I mean, uh, yeah, like I said, I just think it would, it would stand out more. Robert Englund, another example. Robert Englund, make these kids deal with issues that kids are dealing with in today's age, when it comes to, the you could say the, whole popping pill epidemic, doing drugs. Somehow Freddy gets into these kids' minds, and he toys with them. He kind of makes them, you know he fucks with them, and they're not sure you know what they really are. Like, kind of like what he did in this movie. He kind of was fucking with Jesse. He was like, kind of like, toying with his sexuality or whatever. But yeah, I think, like I said, a movie like this could possibly work, man, in like, as a modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie, instead of like a direct sequel or something like that. And like I said, Robert Englund has spoke on it ever since he did. I think his idea, his pitch, has always been, you could say, the more I feel, you could say, common sense. Like, I think, or I wouldn't say common sense, but the better route, because, like I said, man, I don't know. I know at the same time we don't really want to see a modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie, because, like I said, when it comes to the movie world, the movie industry or whatever, it's a whole different, like, Freddy hasn't gotten his feet wet in the type of climax we're in today when it comes to movies, Hollywood. So the last time we saw Freddy, it was when a time when you could say we had bad movies, 2010-ish, but we still had some hits, Heck, yeah, for sure. So, and I think that's one of the main reasons I feel they haven't brought back Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, is because they don't have really experience, like I said, in today's movie market, you could say. So I feel they don't want to risk it. I really don't know what it is, man. Like I said, for a new Nightmare movie, I feel they should make it legit, dude. Like I said, I know it's just some people might look at it just a horror movie, um, but I don't know. That's just what I think. But it's interesting. Hold on, I know I've been talking and everything, but at the same time, I've been trying to find that interview, man, where he kind of goes, more deep into it. But yeah, it's pretty much that. He pretty much, and like I said, I very much agree. So, um, a movie like this, heavy on subtext, could possibly work. Like I said, if this movie were to come out today, best believe it, man. People wouldn't shit on it. Is it this one? No, he's talking about Stranger Things there. But yeah, they asked him about the 2010 remake, man, and the same issue with the 2010 remake. It was ahead of its time, dude. It was ahead of its time. That was too damn soon, if you ask me. Even he said it. It was ahead of its time. Cause, like I said, man, Freddy versus Jason was kind of a still recent film at that time. And of course, they could have definitely done more, you know? I streamed a game. That's that's crazy, porn star. Yeah, over little shit like that. It could be a game, it could be a movie, whatever, a comment. Quick to show you down, man. That sorry to hear that, man, but definitely. I mean, definitely, all of you guys, man, on the chat, go subscribe to Pornstar JR, man. Definitely will be because I had originally found your page. I did definitely subscribe. Uh, I think so. I know for sure. I found your page. I was able to go on it, but I definitely will look up your new page, man. But yeah, man. You're always welcome here, man, on the channel, on the streams. Definitely. Hopefully here, man, you could definitely get from the chat. You could get a few more subscribers for me. You know what, Chippy? Yeah, that's true too. Because, like I said, in these times, in these sensitive times we're living, I don't think it's like I don't know if the audience has moved on. Our us do or die fans are always there, but their mission, their whole thing is the audience. They don't care about the fan. They're just trying to make it appeal to the average audience. So, like I said, I feel with the new Nightmare, like I said, I don't know if the average audience has moved on, and it just won't be taken as serious. That's my main thing. That's how I think. That's how I look at it when it comes to the question, why haven't we got a new Nightmare movie, Friday movie? I know everyone, we're dying to see them. Some people don't care if it's a TV show, a movie. We just want to see it. And I very much agree. But like I said, at the same time, maybe people don't take these films serious. And maybe the studios, the directors, they kind of see it, you know? Like I said, man, if you really take a look at today's horror movies, you could say in the past few years, like I said, slasher movies they kind of died off. And I know, like I said, it kind of made a resurgence. They kind of came back in a way, when we got like the 2018 Halloween, Leatherface came back. Who else came back? Ghostface came back. All these characters Pinhead came back. So, like I said, if you take a look at the horror movies in the past few years, and now especially, it mostly is some satanic shit. It's some possession shit. It's some all that ritual shit. And like I don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of good movies, good horror movies, especially this year, man. There's a few I can't wait to see. But like I said, I don't think you OGs could probably correct me if I'm wrong, because of course there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, but I don't really recall a lot of horror movies having to deal with all that shit that they're dealing with in today's movies. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not just movies, it's music, everything, the whole thing, the whole nine, right? So like I said, I know like one thing too. So let's talk about the Freddy character. Freddy Krueger in part 2, definitely, it's always hard for me. It's always a tough one, man. When it comes to, what's the best or what's my favorite, version of Freddy. It's always between the first one and the second one. But let me tell you why sometimes I feel this version of Freddy's might be a little better than the first one. Because in this one, the director, his whole point, because of course this was a new thing, man. It wasn't like there's a continuation to the first one, not at all. Same storyline, same everything, but it's a whole, or not same story, same world, but of course a different storyline. I think it takes place like 5 years after the first one. Nancy has moved out and all this shit. Jesse, he's the new, owner of the house. Not the owner, but he's the new person that lives there. So it goes a whole different direction. But one of my favorite things about this movie, man, is Freddy Krueger himself. Like I said, sometimes I think this one this version of Freddy's better than the original because in this one, they made him more talkative. And like I said, that's what the director wanted. He wanted to make him more talkative. He wanted to make him more, you could say, creepier. And even the whole makeup, the whole thing is way different than, you know, than the whole, than the original Freddy. Like I feel that like when people think of Freddy, like the main Freddy that was marketed, like when you close your eyes and you think of Freddy, the main Freddy people think of is around Nightmare 3, Nightmare 4. You know, you could say the goofy Freddy. You know, you look at all the merchandise, you know, it's mostly the Freddy from part 3 or part 4. Um, if not the remake. Um, so like that Freddy, of course, was more open, you know. Like I said, more goofy, more talkative, more jokey. But in this one, he definitely talked more. Like this was pre Nightmare 3, so the Freddy that we got, that we all know, that you know, when you close your eyes, you think of Freddy. This was like the early draft of the Freddy we got, you know, and like I said, just you know the like him pulling his skin, you know, him walking through the bus in the beginning of the movie, you know, with the claws ripping the, like there's a lot of like Freddy was definitely creepier in this movie, probably the creepiest from the whole from all the movies. Um, so yeah, this was when it was more of a serious tone. Like I said, once part 3, part 4 came out, they wanted to make it a universal thing. That's when MTV Freddy came and all that, you know, mainstream Freddy. But I mean, when you compare it to the original Freddy, I love the original Freddy. Like I said, I always have a hard time deciding which one's my favorite, this one or the first one. Because in the first one, like I said, what I like about the first one is, and like I said, the makeup is a whole different thing in the first one. In the makeup is really creepy. It's more of like it's more red. It's more like, you could say, more burned, like more of like a burned victim. Yeah, like more. You could say freshly burned. Um, this whole sweater is different. You barely see Freddy, only like in reflections and shadows and certain shots, and that's what I really loved about Freddy in the original. You hardly saw him, you know. In this one, like I said, you saw him more. You saw his face obviously more. You saw him talk more, but he was still. And I know another one of the main issues with Nightmare 2, it went against a lot of, you could say, the laws, you know, or not the law, the rules of, you know, the original Nightmare. That's one issue with this too, man. Like I said, it's a whole different thing. Nightmare 2 is a whole different thing. So yeah, like it just like I said, it went against a lot of the rules. Even Wes Craven was against it. He was only trying to make the original. That's it. He never thought of making this huge $1 million franchise. Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street 1984, low budget movie, man. You know, but it was really successful. And of course, New Line Cinema, Bob Shea, executive at New Line Cinema, was like, hell no, man. We gotta. A year later, they, without Wes Craven, they had Nightmare 2. You know. So yeah, and like I said, a lot of stuff they went against when it comes to the Nightmare formula, the Nightmare rules. Like, for example, at the end of the movie, where Freddy, you know, comes out of the pool, you know, with the fire in the real world, so-called. That's always been one of my favorite scenes, man, from the whole franchise. Because I remember watching, like, on TV, Nightmare 2, like I said, more of a darker film, so I've always remembered it. And that this was a scene I've always remembered. When he jumps out of the pool and he's in the real world. And then, like I said, that's unnecessary when you look at the original movie. But that scene has always stood on to me, you know. And like I said, man, he wasn't cracking jokes every damn scene here. So that's why sometimes I feel this Freddy's better than the original. Don't get me wrong, in the original, he looked creepier, but in this one, he was I don't know. I just feel maybe he was a bit more stronger. Who knows, man? And also, of course, it was a whole different team, a new team on board for Nightmare 2. The original team weren't. They definitely didn't. I don't think no one came back other than, of course, Bob Shea, you know, executive at New Line Cinema. So even the makeup artist, they got a whole new guy. They got, of course, Kevin, what was his name? Kevin Yeager. Of course, man, an iconic, a legend when it comes to, the whole, makeup effects and all that. Of course, we have our greats, man, Tom Savini, Rick Baker, Kevin Hager. He's done a lot of stuff too. I think he even designed the Chucky dolls for Child's Play, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so we had a new makeup artist on board for this, and his he decided to make Freddy in this one more of like you could say this is his words. You guys go watch the Never Sleep Again documentary. Pretty good documentary. It's definitely, I might watch it after this, as a matter of fact. But yeah, really rewatchable documentary, Never Sleep Again. Where it's like a 5 hour long documentary or something. They like go really deep into like each of the movies. Well, Kevin Yeager, man, he mentioned he wanted to give him more of like a witch look, Of course, in the first one, he kind of looked a little bit more burned, like I said. But in this one, you could even tell by the nose and stuff like that. He made it like more pointy, more sinister, you could say. And he did a good job, man. He definitely did a good job. Like I said, man, this could be my favorite version of Freddy Krueger. It's always been the original. But like I said, man, I always struggle with it. I always have a hard time. But it might be this one, dude. Honestly, because this one, like, I don't know, dude. Even Robert Englund's like performance, his voice, it's like different, As much as I would love to see this kind of Freddy in a new modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I really don't see it at all, man. I really don't. Like at all. Whatever they do, a TV show, another movie, no matter what they do with Freddy, man, it's gonna be like Chucky, man. I feel, especially if they want to appeal to the audience, they gotta water him down, dude. And that's, like I said, that's my worry when it comes to a new modern Nightmare. Because if it's gonna be watered down, and also even people say they don't even want a new Nightmare if it's not Robert. Well, it's been a known fact. It's been clear as day since the past 5 years that he wasn't gonna return at all, and that's why I sometimes I don't get why people are still on that topic about Robert returning. He's mentioned it in the past couple years. He's not gonna be returning. Like I said, I get it. He's the Freddy. We don't see no one else playing that. But like I said, man, we're still gonna get another Freddy. Trust me. Sooner or later, we're still gonna get a new Freddy. Like I said, obviously that question, that topic has been thrown out the window ever since he said it, man. He said it himself. He doesn't, even in that same interview, he said he's cool. He said he had another one in him. Like I think pre 2018, 25, like a little sometime after, like early 2010s, mid 2010s. Heck, even the late 2010s, he had another one in him. Don't you guys remember in the late 2010s, he came back for like He came back I think it was 2018. I think it was a show, but yeah, he made like a cameo in a show, and it was like Robert Englund's first time as Freddy in like years. I know he's also done a few other, you know, where he gets the whole makeup for like certain like conventions in like the early 2013, around that time. It was on the news and all that, I think. But yeah, but like even in that show where he made that cameo, I think it was a Halloween show, a Halloween episode, something like that. The last time we saw him on screen as Freddy, even on, I don't know, something about that Freddy, man. I didn't like it. It was great seeing him in the makeup, in his iconic role, but it like that cameo, like let's say if they were to do a whole Freddy movie with that Robert Englund, with that Freddy Krueger, I don't see it, man. I don't know what it was in that little cameo show. He just looked too big. He looked too fat. It just wasn't really the same, man. Like I said, he knows when he had one in him, and like I said, I just think that's a topic that should have been thrown out. It's been thrown out, if you ask me. So yeah, whenever we get a Nightmare movie, whenever it is, it could be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, next year, whenever it is. Don't be surprised if if when it's confirmed, when Robert Englund's not coming back. Like I said, I get it. We don't want to see it if it's not Robert Englund. Robert Englund is Freddy, you know. Period. That's it. You know, point blank. And kind of like with Jackie Earle Haley, he took a lot of heat, man. He took a lot of shit for taking on that Freddy Krueger role. And if you really think about it, I never saw him in a lot of shit after that. I know he did really good with Watchmen, which is probably his most iconic role, other than Freddy. Watchmen, which I think was a year before Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Um, he's been in a few other films. Yeah, I've seen him, but I really don't. I haven't seen him like in major films. You know, I haven't heard much from the guy. Honestly, like I said, man, he got a lot of heat. I know it's a big major thing, man. You're stepping into an iconic role. Like I said, it's not his fault at all, man. I like his, ever since I saw it as a kid for the first time. Ever since I saw it, because I was too young to see it in theaters. I remember I was bugging my parents to go take me to watch the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Um, yeah, and you know, a few weeks after it came out, or a few months, whatever, I got the bootleg, you know, and on shitty quality, you know. Someone was recording the damn theater. You know, you guys remember that, those shitty bootlegs? Like I know the movie had just came out like that same week or that next week, and you know, the movie's all like recorded and everything. You guys remember that? Well, yeah, that's when I got the first. That's how I saw the first Nightmare, the 2010 Nightmare for the first time. Even when I saw it for the first time, dude, I never like. He did good, dude. It's just that it was a shitty story. It was a shitty script, shitty written movie, and a shitty makeup. You know. But I've always the reason ever since a kid, I've always respected the 2010 remake. I've bashed it, yes, I've bashed it always on the channel on the past. Oh, dude, it's a terrible written ass movie. It's probably the worst remake that came out from that Platinum Dooms era. But once time goes on, man, once you know the years go on, dude, I kind of appreciated it more, you know. And I've noticed that, yes, I will say probably in the past 5 years, 3 5 years, I've seen people respecting it more than, let's say, 10 years ago, you know, where it was nothing but shit on it. Like all I hear was negative, you know. People would people who liked like this is this is what I remember. People who liked the 2010 remake would get shitted on for liking them, for liking the 2010 remake. People, they would get shitted on. I remember that. Um, Now you could say it's building its own little fan base. It's definitely grown. I've seen a little bit. I've seen people praise it more. Like I said, even the remake was ahead of its time. Uh, because it was too damn early. I understand, man. I understand Freddy versus Jason was a recent film at that time. The hype was really big. Freddy versus Jason was the most successful movie from both franchises. And that was a movie, like I said, that was in development. Fans been trying to see since the 80s, since the 90s. So it was a 10, 15 years in the making. You know what I mean? So it was really big for, and that's one thing I've always saw as Strange Man. You know, like I said, it was successful both for both franchises. It was like the next level for both of the franchise, you could say. Because like I said, man, the 90s they went downhill. Slasher films went downhill. So 2003 comes about. Freddy versus Jason comes out. They top the board. They top the charts again. From the outside looking in, you expect them, especially as a business, as you know, Hollywood, whatever, however they roll, they should captivate off the success, and they would have continued making more. So that's why that's always been a strange thing for me. Like I know a sequel for Freddy versus Jason was in talks, but like I said, I don't think it. I feel the remakes came so that hype won't die down. Instead of giving us a sequel, which would have been better if you ask me, continue the storyline. I know a sequel to Freddy versus Jason would have been if for damn sure would have been a movie all over the place. It would have been like double CGI than the first Freddy versus Jason, Freddy versus Ash, whatever they were doing for the sequel. It would have been a mess. It's understandable. Hey, at the same time, it's kind of grateful for these filmmakers that they wouldn't have done it, you know, because trust me, it would like some people, like even people were barely satisfied with Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason is an iconic movie, especially for us 2000s who were raised at that time. But a lot of people are really not the hugest fan of it. I even have issues with that movie, but it's still a childhood movie, so it's up there for me, even with all the issues it has. But like I said, it wouldn't have been nice. Trust me, a Freddy vs. Jason sequel wouldn't have been nice. So I figured, of course, like I said, they were already doing the whole remake craze. You know, Platinum Dooms, that little era. You know, mid 2000s, late 2000s. So they figured, hey, let's remake them. Right now they're hot. Right now that they're hot, you know, Freddy versus Jason, recent film, people were expecting a sequel. You know, they were hot, but that was the mistake. Remaking them, they should have done even forget a Freddy versus Jason sequel. At least they should have gave us like another solo Freddy movie with Robert Englund. Of course, at that time he still would have got it. Probably give us after Freddy versus Jason, give us a what's his name? Ken Kersinger solo Jason movie. I think would have been better instead of remaking both of them after you're on top. That was a terrible mistake, if you ask me. Like I said, a sequel to Freddy vs. Jason sounds really far fetched and sounds goofy and sounds silly, but you didn't have to make another versus. I don't know, man. That's just what I think. Like I said, even the remake kind of ahead of its time. If it was released like 2015, it would have been more accepted for sure. Like it would have been more 2015, 2016. for sure. It would have been more accepted. Like I said, I just think 2010 was too damn early. It was too damn early to remake it. Both of them. The Friday remake was good. Not good. It was okay. Um, Honestly, it's good. I like it. And you know what, guys? You know what also trips me out too? The remakes for Friday and Nightmare are a lot of people's introduction to these franchises. So, especially like, the younger generation, these films are their introduction to these characters. So, it is it is kind of like, you could say, not a bad look, but like I said, it's the wrong way to go about it, especially after both franchises are on top. Freddy versus Jason beat records for both franchises, and then for them to remake it, that's what made both of them go downhill. And I think that's why we haven't gotten nothing from them. You know what I mean? But it's crazy, man. But yeah, I'm just chopping it up, man. Appreciate you guys being here with me. Um, I know, man. I know. I get it, man. You know, it's been long awaited, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens, man. I know, like I said, a movie might be a flop. It could be, like, I could see it being a flop, man, because like I said, the average audience has moved on. I could see them not taking these franchises as serious. But at the same time, like I wouldn't be surprised if next week we hear, oh, Nightmare on Elm Street, Peacock, or Sci-Fi, yeah, because I know Sci-Fi was streaming the Nightmare movies during Halloween. I think Sci-Fi. I wouldn't be surprised if next week we hear Sci-Fi is doing a Nightmare TV series. I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, I really don't see a serious toned Freddy like the Nightmare 2 Freddy or the original Freddy on the screen these days at all. And like I said, if we're gonna get a silly, goofy Freddy and you're gonna put him in a movie, it's gonna be a flop. So, like I said, a TV show, other than the Legacy sequel being the obvious choice, the other obvious choice to me is a TV show, because that's what's working, right? With these horror franchises nowadays. It's crazy, man. But yeah, man, definitely let me know, man, what you guys are thinking, man, about a new Nightmare movie. Like I said, I know, I just think that's the whole get down with it. We don't want to see them do what they did with. Yeah, yeah, for sure, porn star. Very much so. 100%. They got to stay away from all that. I'd rather see something new. As much as I want to see Heather Langenkamp in there. Ah, come on, man. Do something new, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Chippy. Yeah, this film would work perfectly. And I guarantee you, if this would have came out today, people wouldn't have complained like they did, 40 years ago. Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. And you're right, Chippy, because I think it all comes down to a generational thing. Like I said, at that time, this kind of themes, topics, the whole subtext was looked down upon. But now, I guess it's accepted, which is crazy. Yeah, porn star. Yeah, all of that, even the dialogue. Like I said, the director has said it. It was intentionally. You know, he knew what he was doing. I know for some time it was like a myth, not a myth, but there was a question mark. You know, if it was intentional or not. Because I guess Jesse, what was his name? I know earlier I said Mark Hamill. It's not Mark Patton. There we go. It's Mark Patton, right? Who plays Jesse, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. he was a gay actor, but at that time it wasn't revealed, I think. So it was kind of like a coincidence, you know. By and I think this was his breakout role. This was his first major role. Mark Patton's in Nightmare 2. And even Mark Patton said it on that interview. Not interview, that documentary, Never Sleep Again, where they talk about where they break down the whole Nightmare franchise. Even he mentioned that he felt he was playing himself, playing that damn Jesse character in Nightmare Part 2. Look who I had brought. Look who's outside, man. Got my boy Chucky, man. The reason he's out here, I usually have him in the horror stash. But the reason he's out here, man, is because I was organizing. Like I said, man, I had the day off today. You guys know, man. I my day off is usually on Monday. Um so I was just chilling, man. Like before the live stream, I was organizing the horror collection, the horror stash. And I've done major changes in the past week, so definitely expect an update soon, man. I know it's long awaited. Actually, like I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, I was going through my channel. It was last night, I think, because I was uploading my Strangers review. If you guys have not seen my review, both of the Strangers, go check it out. I uploaded it earlier today. Well, I was going through the channel, man, and I was trying to see when was the last time I did a horror collection update, and I think it was 3 years ago. This year's gonna be my 4th year, so hell yeah, man! This year for damn sure. Like I said, I already have an idea of a few displays, a few things, so I can't wait for. Like I said, major. I've changed major stuff. It looks definitely quite different, so I definitely can't wait for you guys to see that, man. That was pretty funny. Yeah, it was, dude. Yeah. Especially today, man. If you when you look at it in today's lenses, it's like it's wild. It's some wild shit. The interview is on YouTube, I believe. Yeah, yeah, Chippy. You know what? I wasn't able to find it, man. But yeah, it's like a Skype and not a Skype. It's like a interview, like on like Skype style. Yeah, like what's it called? What do they call it now? It's not Skype no more. It's Zoom. That's Zoom. Yeah, there we go. Zoom. I'm thinking 2012, 2013 Skype. Yeah, it's a Zoom interview. He talks about, I think they ask him about the remake, and then he talks about, a modern Nightmare. But yeah, for sure, man. I definitely recommend you guys checking that out, checking that interview out. Like I said, ever since I heard it, I very much agree. So, and to this day, I think that's the best idea that could work. And I know it sounds crazy, man, but a LBTQ Nightmare on Elm Street type of movie. Like I said, man, I know it, like I said, at that time it was kind of frowned upon. It still is today, don't get me wrong. But like I said, man, their army is big. Their army is strong. They back each other. Like they've taken over a lot of shit, the industry, the movie, and everything. They're everywhere now. That just goes to show you how powerful they are, man. And they were able to unite and get together or whatever. Like I said, they have the power now. So, and like I said, in the 80s, it really wasn't. And you know what? I've always seen, Like I always kind of seen that people kind of use for sure Chucky, because of course Chucky does come from a gay director, so Chucky's always been, you could say, like a gay symbol. But also Freddy, man. Uh, it could be because of Nightmare 2. It could be because of because if you look at a lot of those Nightmare movies in today's lenses, there is a lot of shit you will pick up on, and you'll be like, the fuck, or maybe you haven't, like, you never really noticed it beforehand. Like I said, especially with in the times we're in now, if you watch them today, there's a few shit you'll pick up on, But yeah, I have seen that. Even Freddy's been, I think even in T-shirts, dude. I remember one time, yeah, they had like Freddy shirts like with the rainbow on them. Like, so I guess Freddy has been, you could say, a gay symbol, you know, for the community. I feel the same way about some of the early Friday the 13th movies. Yeah, man, those early films are always, even Nightmare, man, those early films are always good, as shitty as they can be. There's always something good about them. The ones I can't, like, I could stand, honestly, I think I could stand the Friday franchise a little more, because I can't stand Nightmare 5. The first four are my favorite. I love the first four Nightmare movies. Part 5, I can't stand. Like, I can't. It's not even a guilty pleasure. I just can't watch it. Like, I really can't, dude. It's shit. Uh, I could watch Halloween 5. I could watch Friday 5, Friday 6, Friday 7, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. I could watch all that. No problem. But I can't watch Nightmare 5. On a shitty day, I could watch Freddy's Dead. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I feel the Friday's more rewatchable for me. I don't know. Hell yeah, man. Rick Baker for sure. Curtis Smith. Yeah, Rick Baker. He's the man, dude. A lot of iconic shit. I love watching that guy. I like his interviews. He's been on Joe Rogan. Cool dude, man. A lot of greats, man. Tom Savini. A lot of them. Yeah, exactly, man. For sure. For sure, man. Like, yeah, yeah. Like back then, it's like a lot of shit we thought back then, and now, like, it makes us appreciate this stuff a little more, It was the TV show called The Goldbergs that Robert Englund came. Yeah, yeah, that one. Norman Fleming Jr. What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, that show right there. He did make a cameo. I don't know if it was just me, man. It was great seeing him back. But let's say if a new Nightmare movie was coming out, and they casted Robert again, looking like that. I'm not saying he looked bad, but it was just off, dude. I don't see like that Freddy taking on a whole movie. I really don't. I don't know if it's Robert Englund has aged. Even he said it. He's aged. He's not down with it. Like I said, for the past 5 years, he's made it official. He's not returning at all. And like I said, people are still bringing that up every time a new Nightmare movie comes about. Robert, and like I said, it's the main question mark. Robert Englund. I get it, man, but like I said, don't be surprised when we get that new Nightmare movie and they officially confirm he's not in it. Don't be surprised, you guys, please. Bootlegs from the dude standing in front of Walmart. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I have the bootleggers because where I grew up in some apartments. The bootleggers will be everywhere: Walmart, restaurants, outside laundromats. even this was, like I said, early 2010s, or late 2010s, 2010 to be exact. They would go knocking, because since I would live in an apartment, they would go knock from door to door, see if you wanted to buy movies, man. And yeah, I bought a nice handful. Trust me, I would even order him movies to bring next week. He would come every Monday, guys. Uh, yeah, and my parents would welcome him in, offer him to drink. Like, it was a cool thing like that, like, for quite some time now, I would, like, order him movies to bring back the next week, type of thing. It was a cool thing, you know. So yeah, he would be there for some time. He wouldn't just go there for the movies. He would obviously conversate, chop it up with my aunts or my mom, whatever the case was. And it was a cool thing, man. That's how I got my very first horror bootlegs. Yeah, for sure. Those are the first ones I've ever bought. First bootleg horror movies I've ever owned. Nightmare remake, Friday remake, Freddy vs. Jason, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Hell yeah. Late 2010s, yeah. Yeah, Chippy, that's what it was. Yeah. It was the production team. It wasn't Jackie Earl Haley. He didn't. I liked him, dude. I liked how he was more of a. I liked how he wasn't cracking jokes. I liked that he was more sinister, more darker. They changed his. I wouldn't say they changed his whole thing. His whole, the whole, the whole pedophile shit. I know in the original movie, Wes Craven, that was in his original script. But of course, man, like I said, sensitive times back then. It was more sensitive back then. Or not sensitive, or yeah, but like I said, now it's sensitive, but back then a lot of stuff you couldn't be as in the open how it is now. So he just changed it to a child killer. Oh yeah, for sure, porn star. Yeah, it's always cool, huh, when we have like a direct plug, uh direct connect when it came to the bootlegs, the MP3 downloads and all that. Hell yeah, for sure, man. One of my neighbors, man, he definitely would hook me up, putting like downloading when you remember back then MP3 players. I still have mine, as a matter of fact. If I charge it, a lot of my old songs come out. That's crazy. But yeah, man. Awesome, man. I missed it, man. Everything's in the palm of our hands now, bro. It really ain't the same, man. That's why bootleggers went out of that's why bootleggers went out of business and all that, cuz everything's in the tip of our hands, man. It's crazy. This I keep losing. Oh no, there we are. I hated how they made Jason. Oh yeah, man, that's one of my main issues with Freddy versus Jason. They watered the Jason character completely down, man. I hate it. Nothing against Ken Kersinger, but they just made him a wuss, man. I don't know. I wonder if they're gonna make a Freddy vs. Jason remake. I wouldn't be surprised, man. Cause Freddy vs. Jason, you could say, is like, they're more popular together than individually. So I could see them doing a straight Freddy vs. Jason remake than another individually you know Jason or Freddy movie. Yo, Brandon loves the horror. What's up, man? What's up, Broom? What's up, my boy? Hope you're doing good, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Just talking Nightmare on Elm Street, man. I don't know, dude. like I said, I'm in a nightmare mood today. I know I reviewed The Strangers earlier today. I don't know what it is, man. You know what? I'm gonna watch the documentary. I was gonna say I might watch Nightmare 2, but I'm gonna watch that documentary, man. Never Sleep Again. It's really rewatchable, man. I really recommend it. It's here on YouTube. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. You like I said, porn star. I feel the remakes kind of, you could say, cock blocked for the franchise. I don't know what it was, man. Like it really like it's really, it was like I said at that time it was really soon, but now it's been what, 15 years now. 15 years now. It's crazy, man. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it to 20. Yeah, you're 100% right, Brandon. Yes, they broke rules for both of them, not just Fred, not just Jason. Of course, yeah, because I know for Freddy they like a lot they went against a lot of the rules, man. Even Wes Craven I think spoke on it. Um that he it just the main point of that movie was not for them, like of course, yes, for a versus movie that's the main point. Get down to the climax and see them slash each other out. That's what we want to see, right? But like you said, man, they had to go against a lot of rules, so that's why the story wasn't as strong. You know, like I said, the point was for them to get down, and if they followed every damn rule, it wouldn't work. Those I know they were the two main iconic horror characters at that time, so it was the obvious choice to pair them up. But since the beginning, they weren't meant for to take place in the same timeline. But like I said, man, since it was the obvious, they crossed lines, they crossed rules to make it happen, man. So without a doubt, it's still a fun movie. But yeah, it definitely the story has flaws, the characters have their flaws, even some of the acting has its flaws. That movie was kind of ahead of its time if you really think about it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know some people. I know the early diehard fans, of each of these franchises. I know even some of them are not the hugest fan of the Versus movie, but Ken Kersinger was actually in. He was the guy who was thrown into the. Oh yeah, that's right, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's why they got him, man. Since of course he already had dealt with these people with in this territory. Cause yeah, and even with Michael, even with Jason, most of those actors were stuntmans. So yeah, of course it was always looked as a man with just a mask. So they would just get stuntmans. Ken also did the hit in the alley as Jason. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, yeah. I have heard of that most definitely. He was in used as like stuntmans and stuff like that in some of those early films. Part 8. I like the Friday remake. Last time I watched it, back then I didn't like it. Yeah, me too. In the beginning, I never liked the remake, but the more I watched it, yeah, I think I liked it. I don't know if it's because it takes me back, like even the characters, the jock ass characters, the blonde dude, like it just takes me back to that era, man. Like, really, you know. Kane said in his audiobook that he wasn't allowed to do it as they wouldn't want him to hurt for the rest of the filming. Yeah, man, very much so. Very much so, especially when you take on the main role now, they definitely I think even for the stuntmans, dude, they had their own stuntman. Best remakes was Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw for sure is one of them. I also really do like. outside from that Platinum Dooms uh remake craze, I really do like the Evil Dead remake. What other remake did I like? Of course we have our iconic ones, The Blob, The Thing, The Fly, that kind of outshine the original movies. But when it comes to the Platinum Dooms craze, yeah, Texas Chainsaw the remake and Friday. I think Friday, man. What other remakes did they have? Yeah, House of Wax. Was that Platinum Dooms? House of Wax was pretty good. I think I'm gonna put House of Wax up there for sure. Uh, yeah, for sure. When it comes to the Platinum Dooms Michael Bay remakes, yeah, those might be the best ones. In his audiobook, Kane said that he dislikes how Kane and a shot as soon as a weak card makes. Yeah, man. You know what? I know. Yeah, I know for sure. Kane has spoke on, Ken Kersinger in his, you know, novel autobiography or whatever it is. Because of course he was originally intended for Freddy versus Jason, and honestly, I think they did him. Honestly, that was kind of wrong, how they did him. Because hey, man, this dude was 4 movies deep, right, at that time. So for them to just grab someone else, man, and not really explain to him the whole get down, I think is really shady, really dirty. He's even spoke on it. I think on his novel, like I said, I think he like when he went through depression, you know, after that, and because he was really excited, he was really into it, the whole Freddy versus Jason thing. So yeah, and like I said, for Ken Kersinger, of course he had to study, man, Kane Hodder, because dude, Kane Hodder's the Jason. We all love Ted White, rest in peace. The original, what was his name? Richard Brooke, from Part 3. Dude, we love those Jasons for sure. Part 3, Part 4 Jason might be my favorite Jason, but Kane Hodder is the Jason to the Friday fans. So, like I said, he is the Jason. You could say he's a star because hey, he was the one who lasted in it longer. He's the one who you could say took Jason mainstream, pop culture wise. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was wrong, man. Did anyone watch the TV series? No, I never watched them. Norman Fleming. I would love to for shits and giggles. I don't know if they have a DVD or Blu-ray. I know they have the Friday TV series on DVD. But I've already like I've seen snippets of it. I've seen that I think it was the first episode. They kind of it's funny. They kind of you know give us Freddy's backstory. They take Fred Krueger to court for all this shit. It was a silly show. So it was a flop for sure. But I really want to watch it in today's lenses, man. I don't know. I just think it might be better than as shitty corny as it might be. Could be better with it could be better than a lot of these shows now. But yeah, man, I'm gonna look it up after this. Yeah, for sure. Brandon, yeah, they are poorly done. They're low budget, crappy, cheesy, corny. Yes, for sure. Silly shit. Like I said, Freddy at that time has gotten a mainstream. They were doing whatever they were doing on set. They were having fun with it, and they even talked about the Freddy's Nightmare show on the Never Sleep Again documentary. Even the directors, they mentioned like by the time they got to the third episode or whatever, like half of the like they just stopped giving a fuck. They were just like whatever. They just were coming up with shit at that moment type of thing, and yeah, it was mostly for shit and giggles for sure. You know, I would love to see him. I've seen a few scenes, probably that first episode I saw, where they take him to court and everything. But yeah, man, I would love to. I'm gonna look them up if they have them on Blu-ray. I know they might be kind of pricey, so I don't see myself paying too much for crappy sequels, crappy TV show like that. But interesting, Brandon. That's interesting, man. Yeah. Could it be because Freddy was more of like a goofy character, is what made him kind of not as scary? Of course, yeah. As a kid, Jason and Michael, the Shape, are way more, yeah, way more scarier, way more emotionless. They don't speak. Hell yeah. But yeah, could it have been, the silly Freddy that didn't really scare you? I'm honestly not super into the mid. Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like at that time, like in the mid 2000s, when it came to those remakes, CGI wasn't really. Of course, it was already a thing, but it wasn't overdone at that time. You know. So yeah, even the KMB effects team, really good. They had a good team. That Platinum Dooms had a good team, but I think they had the vibe, they had the atmosphere, everything was good. I like the dark tone to those remakes. But I think the problem with those remakes were they were kind of rushed and they were poorly written, I feel, But Michael Bay had the team, dude. Michael Bay was the man at that time. Transformers, right? Which obvious which obviously might not be the greatest idea, You have a guy doing Transformers, blockbuster movies, doing, little horror movies. Not the greatest idea, but like I said, I think they did their job as, making an impact in the horror genre in Hollywood. Like I said, a lot of those 2000 remakes are the introduction to these franchises, to these characters, to a lot of people. You know, I wouldn't say they outshined the original movies. In some way, yeah. Like for example, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it for sure outshined not the original, but I think it outshined the other series. You know, not the other series, the other movies like Part Two, Part Three, Part Four. Right? I don't know. That's just from the outside looking in. Oh yeah, man, for sure. The original something about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is what made it work really well, man. And like I said, I feel like the remake was good. I really do like the remake, both of them, even the prequel. But like I said, they kind of, you know, like you said, they added, you know, more family members. And don't get me wrong, Sheriff Hoyt, actor who played him, man, damn, that performance is probably the best thing about those remakes, the Texas Chainsaw remakes. He definitely he definitely carried on those movies good, man. But like I said, it just wasn't as unique as the original. Who said this? I just thought of this. Who said this? Who said this? Who did I get this from? God, I forgot who I got this from. I think I got it from, I heard this someone say this in a YouTube review somewhere. Uh I don't recall. A documentary? No, I don't recall. But yeah, so I remember, and I very much agree. Like when you watch the original Texas Chainsaw, like it's really like believable. It's really like Like when we get introduced to, our characters, in the beginning of the movie when they're in the van with like Chop Top and stuff. Like they really make you feel like you're there in that van. You know, like just the way they're dressed, the atmosphere, everything, dude. In the original is what really made it unique. It made it like real, and when in the remake, like we get introduced to our characters and it feels like we're, stepping into a model photo shoot, because yeah, of course, man, when you're out there in the middle of Texas, you're not gonna be shining bright, I don't know, like I said, it could be the difference, in teenagers of the generation, of the decade. Of course, the remake 2000s teenagers are a little bit more hip at that time, you could say. So I get it, they made our characters like the typical, teenagers in the 2000s, but I don't know. That was like a main distraction in the Texas Chainsaw remake for me, is that they were too clean. They were too, I don't know. Like if they were like they were models in a photo shoot, like they look like models, straight up. Even the dudes, even the dudes, they look like models, dude. And like I said, in the original movie, dude, we get to meet Sally, the characters, and it's more realistic. It's more believable, and it makes us. We watch that movie. It makes us feel that we're there. The original, the kills. You don't really see the kills; they get cut off, and it's left in our imagination. That's the greatness of the original Texas. So yeah, the remake is good. Definitely, probably the best one from Michael Bay, but not as good as the original. You know what I mean? What did you think of Chucky season 3, Norman? I have not seen Chucky season 3, man. Uh, I really haven't. I didn't even see season 2. But yeah, I just know they just recently wrapped it up, man. You got Tiffany, Chucky's girlfriend. Yeah, yeah, Curtis Smith. I do. I have a Tiffany doll. Um, it's been a while since I brought her out, man. I have her in a box. The box it came with. I got it for like $40, dude, on eBay. Like a couple years ago. I couldn't pass on it. It's one of those talking ones that Spirit Halloween used to sell. But for $40, I couldn't pass on it, dude. I'm gonna bring it out. Like I said, I've been working on the horror collection, moving stuff around. I've done major changes, so I definitely will bring her out, man. Everywhere I be going, they be calling me Chucky because they see me with the dog on time. So you ain't know. They be like, "What's up, Chucky?" Yeah, man, that's right. You know what? There was like two times, man. Like there's like I would say a good 5 minutes from here, from my house. There's like this guy, man. He's always like I've seen him a nice handful of times. You know, he's just and the bus stop, standing in the bus stop, waiting for the bus to come. He's always like really hyped up. He has earphones. He's bumping music, whatever. But there was like a good two times, man. He had like a Chucky doll, you know, like right there, and I don't know. It just reminded me of that. That's what it reminded me, because I guess you take your Chucky out in public, and yeah, man, this guy, like I said, even like the last time I saw him was like a week ago in the same bus stop. Every time I pass by in the car or whatever, he's always waiting for the bus. But yeah, I haven't seen him carry that Chucky doll. But yeah, there's been a good two times, man. You know, this guy has this Chucky doll out with him. I think he has the. I think it's the one I have. Not this one, not the Trick or Treat Studios one, but the Spirit Halloween one, Spencer's one. Wait, Freddy's an LGBTQ symbol? Wait, how so? The early Fridays were scarier. So, Brandon, what I mean by, like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of seen like people look at him like that. Like I said, I know he, like I said, if you watch those early movies in today's lenses, there's a lot of shit you could pick up on, you know, that probably wasn't even intentionally. But like I said, in the times we're in now, we kind of see shit, you could say, in a different perspective. But like I don't know, man. Like I don't even, like I know, like I said, like in Nightmare 2, I know the subtext was a little bit more big, a little bit more on it. But like I was like I don't know, like even during Halloween, like I said, man, I've seen some Freddy shirts with like his face, of course, and with like rainbow. I don't know. Like I said, I get it, you know. Kind of same with Chucky, but of course Chucky, he comes from he comes from Don Mancini. So that's no surprise at all. But with Freddy, I don't know, man. Like that's just what I've seen, you know. I When I first saw that, man, I kind of like, I don't know, I was kind of like not thrown off, but I was surprised, you know, because I don't like, it could be just a modern thing. Maybe back then, not really. Like I said, now it's more open. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Yo, Joseph, the horror guy. Yo, what's up, man? I am here. We're doing pretty good, man. Appreciate you tuning in, chopping it up, man. Talking about some Nightmare on Elm Street. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope all of you guys are doing good. Stop by and say hello. Hope you have a good night. Appreciate it, man. Hope you have a good night as well, man. I know you just started a new channel, man. I definitely I saw you were live earlier. I saw that you were live earlier. Came across your channel again, so definitely had to drop the subscribe, man. So happy Monday to all of you guys, man. I guess you can say, well, yeah, Norman, yeah. Now they do share the same universe, of course. Yeah, but I don't think it was intended. I don't think it was intended to be. Like I said, they were whole. Wes Craven was doing his own thing. Sean S. Cunningham was doing his own thing, and I know they were good friends before that, right? I think they've done they've done like projects. I think they've done projects before, you know. Oh yeah, man, me too. Yeah, I can't wait for Strangers Chapter 1. It's definitely coming out this Friday. I can't wait, dude. I just reviewed the first two Strangers. Definitely go check that out if you haven't. Was before him in part 2. Yeah, man, rest in peace. Yeah, yeah. I know a few have did pass away. Ted White, of course, as well. From those early films. But yeah, man. Though as much as we love Kane Hodder, I don't know, something about early Jason, part 2, 3, 4 Jason is where it's at for me. It only lasted 2 seasons. Yeah, man. Yeah, because like I said, they were poorly done. They weren't a hit. They weren't a success. So they definitely, yeah, they had to cut it after season 2. You know, it's on Internet Archive. Just watch it there. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah, you're right, porn star. Because like I said, there could be a physical release of the show. But like I said, I could see it being pricey. You know, and like I said, those crappy episodes might be online on YouTube. So, yeah, that's right. The first Chainsaw. Yeah, for sure, and that's one thing the 2000s remakes had. They felt more grounded. They felt more, like you said, more gore, more. It was more like more grounded. Yeah, more like realistic. You could say, but and the Kirky is 1986 sequel. Yeah, man. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw 2 was a really weird film, but it's definitely, I don't, it's like a guilty pleasure. It's like, I don't know. It's grown a fan base for damn sure. Is it as good as the original? Hell no. But it's a good weird way. It's a good weird movie in its own way, in its own right, So I've never, as much as weak as those sequels are, I've always respected part 2, for being its clever little own thing. Too glossy, yeah. Yeah, I like the way you put that, man. Yeah, glossy. That's what I meant, man, when I'm talking about yeah, like in the original, the characters are, of course, they're dirty, man. They're out there in the middle of Texas. They're supposed to be dirty, it's hot as hell out there, and in the remakes they look like it's a photo shoot, a model photo shoot. That's one thing. Yeah, that kind of, you could say, takes, like I said, kind of was a distraction. Kind of takes off, the realism from the case. Oh yeah, the first Stranger's good. Yeah, yeah. I just rewatched it, man. Like a few days ago. I rewatched them to do the review, man, and it was my first time watching them in a long time. Honestly, the first Strangers, I only saw it once, quite some time ago, and I really didn't remember it, dude. Like, so when I watched it the other day, it felt refreshing. Like, it felt like I haven't seen it. It really wasn't as memorable for me back then. But now that I rewatched it, man, I think I liked it more than I did previously. I thought that was a real kid. That's what. Yeah, rolling around with your kid, man. Your kid Chuck. Yeah, man. It's always great. I mean, I feel like when you do that kind of stuff, roll around with the Chucky doll. I could just only imagine the reactions you get, man. Really, for sure, Joseph, man. Hope you have a great night, man. Definitely, will see you soon, man. I'm going to see the new Strangers Thursday. Yeah, man. Me too. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm gonna see it opening night, Friday night. Maybe I really want to see it as soon as possible. If I'm free Friday, I'm gonna try to make my way. I'm gonna try to make it. But yeah, man, I can't wait. I definitely can't wait for the new Strangers Chapter 1. I heard the trilogy. I know it's gonna be a new trilogy. I heard the trilogy is supposed to come out by the end of the year, man. I don't know if I heard that wrong. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said in my review, it sounds a little far fetched. I don't know. I feel like if they're gonna how they're gonna do a whole trilogy before the year's over. I don't get it. I don't get it. Uh, like I said, I probably read that wrong, heard that wrong, but that's one thing too, man. The Strangers definitely grew a fan base more than I remember it. Like I said, I remember when it came out. I've never been the biggest fan of home invasion movies. To keep it real with you guys, The Strangers one of my favorites. Your Next is a pretty good one. There's a lot of good ones, but I've never been the huge fan of them. Um, and yeah, I remember when the first Strangers came out. Didn't really care for it. I saw it sometime after it came out. Pretty good. I liked it. I liked the concept. I liked the masks. I liked the whole designs. Everything. It was creepy. Um, and ever since that movie, the first movie, it grew a fan base. That's why we got like Pray at Night, the sequel. We got it like 10 years later. But it's definitely grown a fan base, man. That's what I've noticed for damn sure. Those movies have been praised a little bit more than you expect, but there's a fan base for sure, and I think that's why they're doing the trilogy. So yeah, like I said, I probably heard wrong about the trilogy coming out before the end of the year, but we'll have to see what happens, man. I'm gonna definitely try to make it by Friday too. Chucky and Mike the goats, man. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, it's always Mikey and Chucky, man. Definitely can't go wrong. Um, but yeah, guys, I mean, I think that's gonna be pretty much it, man, for today's live stream. I've been on here for quite some time now. Definitely appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Um, it was great chopping it up with you guys. Like I said, just wanted to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know what it was, but yeah, like I said, a new movie. It's kind of like 50-50, man. Like we really do want to see another movie, man. But like I said, at the same time, we don't want it to suffer from it being watered down, it being it just, I don't know. But whatever they do, man, I just hope they got some good people behind it, got some people who care about the franchise, the Freddy character, not just make another one because let's make money. This is iconic. Like I said, the Legacy sequel, obvious choice, but I just want to see something new, man. As much as I love Heather Langenkamp, all these characters that could return, just move on. Just move on. Or you could have let Heather Langenkamp come back, dude. Or I don't know, cause she's dead, right? She died in part 3. Um, I don't know, but I just feel they should do something new, something unique, and something that's gonna sit well with the audience, man. Sit well with today's audience and not disappoint us fans. You know, I don't know. I just feel they should take notes. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Oh yeah, man, the shape, the best. Definitely can't top the shape. Got the shape down there, up there. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. We'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, I do another live stream, man, before the weekend. If not, in the weekend. But yeah, man, I definitely got more content, more videos coming for you guys. Definitely stay tuned for that. Hope you guys take it easy, man. You guys be safe out there. Stay tuned for more videos. It's the Michael Myers signing out.